And here we go. Hi, everyone. So, welcome to a new episode of Community Voice. As you all know, this is a space dedicated to our community where we're going to discuss different proposals that are now available for feedback or for discussion, and this is a place where like we want the community to like ask all the questions or like share the feedback that you have, and at the same time hopefully we can clarify better every proposal that is right now a matter for community discussion. So today with me is Jan, that is product lead in PureStake. PureStake is the team that is developing Moonbeam, and he's going to talk about like the recent proposal that is now posted for discussion about OpenGov. So, Jan, the stage is yours, and thank you so much for being today with us.
Thank you, Kathy. And hello, everyone. So, yes, today is a very interesting topic about governance. So, bear with me because this is a topic that is a bit complex, but I will try to make it simpler for you. So, here is a presentation. So, yeah, today we will discuss about the Moonbeam governance and what's to come. So, it will be centered about the current governance system and how OpenGov will change it. So first of all, why do we need governance? So this is a very important question to start with because Polkadot and the different parachains that are using Substrate are inherently upgradable, meaning that they can evolve over time. But if they can evolve and adapt to new conditions, basically there needs to be a decision-making process in place before in order to make sure that the evolution that the chain is doing is basically decided by the majority of the community. And this is basically what OpenGov is trying to solve. So they have proposed an elegant solution for this part and to make sure that the interests of the whole community are taken into consideration. So before we go to OpenGov, I will start with the governance V1, so the current governance process that is in place. That is a bit complex today, but I will try to decipher it for you. So the governance system that we are using today, basically, it's coming from what is done on Polkadot and on Kusama. And the main properties of this governance system is to be inclusive, meaning that anyone can propose a change, and also everyone is supposed to vote on those change. So there is no barrier, everyone can propose, everyone can vote. Second thing is it is a process that is fully transparent. So when you are proposing something, it's directly visible on chain for anyone, and also the voting results are visible to anyone on chain. So this is very important because we are using the property of the blockchain to make sure that the voting system is fully accessible to all the participants, but also to the outside world. Sorry. And the last thing is to be secure, meaning that basically the change that will be applied is decided by the majority. So assuming that the majority is acting to the good of the parachain, basically this one will be secure. So there is one first flow that is called the democracy proposal flow. So this is the one that any community member should know, which is a very simple process. So on the left-hand side, there is a community member, this purple guy, who is willing to propose something. And this proposal, you need to attach a bond to it. This is mostly meant to avoid any spam. So people need to attach some bonds to their proposal. And then it will become a democracy proposal where any other community member, so this is those people here, will be able to review this democracy proposal and endorse it. So by endorsement, it means that they will attach also a small deposit to this proposal to make it go higher and higher in this queue of democracy proposals. So basically what you can see here is as any community member can propose something, we can have a lot of democracy proposals. And the setup put in place is that basically only the most seconded proposal will be moving from the democracy proposal stage to the referendum stage, which is the purple one. And it will move from democracy from the yellow to the purple part only if the launch period has been passed and there is enough capacity. The capacity is the number of democracies that we can, the number of referendums that we can do in parallel. So when it's become a referendums, any community member can vote on this referendum. And assuming that people agree to make it pass, then this referendum will be waiting for the enactment period until it gets finally dispatched and the changes are applied on-chain. But if the majority of the community agree to reject this proposal, then this referendum will be rejected. So it's a pretty simple process, but you will see that there is also other process which make it a bit more complex. So there is another set of actions that can be done on-chain, and this is done by the council. The council, so it means that any council member, so the council is supposed to act only on specific cases, which are mostly linked to security part. So the council members can propose a motion, and the motion is basically a proposal to create an external proposal. You have to picture it this way. So this council member is proposing a motion to do whatever he wants. And basically, the council members have to agree, at least the majority, 3 out of 5 council members have to agree that this motion is a good motion and need to become an external proposal. If it is the case, then there is a technical committee that has the right to do two things. The first one is to fast track this external proposal, so to make it go through quicker, or to veto this proposal. So if they feel that this external proposal is bad, they will just vote no against it, and then it will be rejected. But assuming that there is no veto from the technical committee, basically this external proposal will wait until the launch period is elapsed and become a normal referendum. So committee members will be able to vote on this one and follow the same workflow that we saw before. The fast tracking part, we'll discuss about it because this is something that is also important to understand. And this is one of the responsibility of the technical committee. So the technical committee can propose a proposal to fast track an external proposal. So this is what this technical committee member is doing. So he spotted an external proposal in the queue, and he's asking the technical committee, the whole technical committee, to fast track this proposal. And fast tracking means that it will be able to override the enactment period and the voting period of this specific proposal to make it go quicker. So if this one is approved, then this external proposal will be pushed to become a referendum and have those specific parameters override. So this is only done in case of emergency, if there is something that is very important to be deployed. Otherwise, the process is to do it within 2 weeks. And the last one is the Treasury proposal process, where any community members can propose a Treasury spending proposal. So the same thing, he has to propose and put a bond to this Treasury spending proposal. And then at this stage, any community members can decide to take this Treasury proposal, convert it into a motion. And at this stage, the council members have to collectively agree on this Treasury spending motion in order for the funds to be spent from the Treasury. And the fund will be spent from the Treasury only after the spend period had been elapsed. If they disagree, then this Treasury spending will be rejected. So there is 4 different flows that are happening in the current governance process. I hope it make it a bit more clear for you. But basically what we can see is basically this process is a bit centralized, especially around the council part, where basically they have a preferred treatment over the community, namely around the Treasury spending, but also over the way that they can also propose a fast tracking motion. There is also a low throughput. So basically, either it is on the democracy part or on the Treasury spending part, there is 2 timer, which is the launch period and the spend period, that are limiting the overall throughput. So if you want to have something that gets executed fast, but without any exception, it's a bit tricky to do it. And the last thing, it's not very flexible in the sense that proposals are treated the same way, independently of their criticality, meaning that to make something go in parallel or to make something go quicker, it's not something that you can parameterize in advance. So now comes OpenGov. So OpenGov has been released very recently. It's already live in Kusama, so it's already used. And we are looking at it with a lot of interest. And this is the reason why we posted this post on Discourse on the community forum for you to have a look at it. So with OpenGov, there is different parameters that are coming. The first one is the origin, and this is very important to understand this part. So on the left-hand side, there is this community member. Basically, it's just proposing that a specific origin is performing a specific operation. So he's proposing to the community that this origin, which is root in this case, which is the highest origin, is performing a set of action. In this case, runtime upgrade or XCM channel opening or whatever things. So an origin is basically a source, the source that will be used for a specific operation. And based on the origin, we'll be able to derive what is a track, which is a set of more likely a category of proposals that will be used. So it will be a bit more clear later on. So you can have different origins. So you can have an origin called general admin or another origin called whitelist. And basically this specific origin will be able to perform a specific set of actions. For general admin, we can imagine that it would be staking management, XM fees, registrar identity verification stuff. And for whitelisting part, it's a track or an origin that can perform some actions, but those actions have to be whitelisted by the technical committee. So this is only used for a very important or emergency situation where basically we need to do something fast, but the technical committee has to agree on top of those actions, agree to make it fast. In fact, they do not have to propose something; they just have to agree that this specific set of operations need to go quicker. And the last thing that has been introduced with OpenGov in terms of parameters is the approval and support curves. So this one is very important because basically when you are voting on something, we need to make sure that there is enough votes in terms of yes votes, but also in terms of number of votes before a change is applied on chain. So this is what we call the turnout. So how many votes has been used, but we need also to know what is the percentage of yes versus no. So the approval parameter is basically a percentage of the yes versus the no, and it is taking the conviction into consideration. So a conviction is kind of a weight that you can put on your vote, but in order to weight your vote a bit more, you need to lock your asset for a duration that is longer than the voting period. So the more you lock, the more weight you have in your vote. Second thing is the support. So support is basically the number of yes and abstain votes compared to the total supply of tokens. So this is why we can know that there is, at the minimum, this percentage of tokens that will be used on this specific proposal in order to have it go through. So here on the left-hand side, I only put some examples. So we can have an approval curve. So this one is reciprocal, where basically at the first day, we require to have 100% of yes versus no. Then on the fourth day, which is 96 hours later, then only 80% is required, and it will slowly decrease. And after the 14 days, and it's only 50% that is required. So this is what you can see on this curve, where it's slowly decreasing over time. And the support curve here in blue is linear, so this is a straight line going from 50% at the beginning to 0% after 2 weeks. So this is how you can make sure that basically there is enough yes vote and enough tokens that have been used. So if you are in the green part and also in the blue part at the same time, then it means that your action has enough approval and support. So this is a general flow for the OpenGov. And the good thing is this is a flow that will be used everywhere, and there is only one flow to know in order to understand how OpenGov is working. So on the left-hand side, you have any committee members. So there is no specific or privileged set of people that can propose something. It's everyone is treated the same way. So any community members can propose, and this is what we define. We can propose an origin to perform a certain set of operation. So this is a proposal that a specific origin does something. So this is a proposal that will have a state that is called undecided. And during this period, any committee members can basically vote on this proposal or put a decision deposit. a decision deposit, so multiple people can put a decision deposit, but this is an amount that is required for a proposal to continue to go to the next step, and this amount will be slashed in case of this proposal is harmful. So assuming that there is enough, the decision deposit has been put, then this proposal that is in this state undecided will move to deciding state only if there is enough capacity. So this is where we can drive how many proposals can be done in parallel. So the capacity can be 1, 2, 3, and 5, or in 5 means that we can have 5 proposals in deciding state or going through the next part at the same time. Again, the top voted track will be taken in order to go to the next stage if there is enough capacity. And there is also a timer that is called the preparation period that needs to be elapsed. So assuming that those 3 parameters are have been checked, then it will move from undecided to deciding. On this deciding stage, basically any community member can vote, but what is very important is there will be this support and approval curves that will play a role. So basically, if on the deciding stage, we come to a time where there is enough support and approval, then this proposal will move directly to confirming state. And it needs to get there for at least the confirmation period. So if we specify the confirmation period to be 3 hours, then it has to have enough support and approval continuously for those 3 hours in order to get confirmed. But if at any point in time during this 3-hour window, there is not enough support, meaning, or not enough approval, meaning that someone vote no or against it, then it will go back to the deciding state and stay there. This period of decision will last, well, this is more likely the vote duration, so it can last for 2 weeks, and it will stay there for 2 weeks until it gets enough support and approval in order to go to the next stage. If it's not reaching enough support and approval, then it will be rejected. So assuming that I was able to get enough support and approval, then this proposal will go to the state confirmed. It will wait for the enactment period to elapse, and then it will be dispatched or applied on chain. So there is this 4-step process in order for any proposal to be executed on chain. So I explained what is a capacity, a decision deposit, preparation period, and confirmation period. But it's important to understand them because basically they have, if the capacity is high, then it has a big impact on the overall security. So basically, if the capacity, if we say that it's not one capacity is not one, so meaning that one at a time, one proposal at a time can go through this process. If we increase it to 2 or to a lot, definitely it will become quite difficult for an attacker to spam the system. So this is good because if you want to jam the queue, you will have to put a lot of bad proposals in this specific track. But the thing is, if it is too high, it means that as a community member, if you want to monitor this part, the capacity of a specific track, you will have to monitor a lot of different proposals. So it would be a bit tricky if you want to prevent a bad proposal to happen. So it has to be well thought. The decision deposit is the same thing. So if it is high, basically it means that an attacker will have to spend a lot of tokens in order to post something that is harmful. And then he can lose this decision deposit fully if the community decides to kill this proposal by triggering this emergency killer track proposal. But if this amount is too high, it will prevent people, normal people, to propose something. So it will have a bad effect in the decentralization of the decision making process. The same thing for the preparation part. So this is basically a duration where community members can start to be prepared, to know that there will be a proposal that will go through, and to read it, to engage on top of that. And there is also the confirmation period that is quite critical, which will prevent snipe attack, where basically a bad actor will be able to vote on the bad proposal at the very end. So the proposal need to continuously be successful for a certain amount of time. So if the duration is quite long, then the attack will most likely fail. But if the duration is very short, then people will potentially not have enough time to react and prevent a bad proposal to go through. So there is a bunch of different parameters that need to be adjusted. And the proposal that we put on the community forum is what we feel a good balance of those parameters in order to maximize the decentralization, prevent bad attacks to be happening. And we strongly advise the community to read those and propose alternatives or to express their opinion on this. Another part is the different tracks that we propose now. So track is basically a set of a proposal, a category that is derived from the origin. So basically, if you want to use the root origin that is pretty much able to do anything, basically it will be most likely used for runtime upgrades or technical committee management stuff. So basically, this track is quite restrictive. So the decision deposit is quite high, the throughput is quite low, because this is something that is highly sensitive. Then there is a track that is for whitelisted operation. So this is used mostly for fast-tracked operations. And again, this is only for emergency or security-related decision. So it will be most likely almost never used, hopefully. But again, if there is a need to act very fast on the network in case of emergencies, there is still a way to do so. There is, again, the general admin track that is used for the general operations like XCI management, orbiter program, parachain staking, registrar, a lot of different things. So this is a track that is, again, fully open to any community member to propose something. And the throughput is medium, so it makes it easier to propose something and to have it go through. And there is the two last that are emergency canceller and emergency killer track. So basically, those two are very similar in the sense that this is what is triggered in order to cancel a wrong referendum or a bad referendum. And the difference between the two is only that if you trigger the emergency killer, basically the decision deposit will be slashed. But if you trigger the emergency canceller, it will only be cancelled. The proposal will only be cancelled, and the decision deposit will be refunded. So again, this is something that you trigger only if you want to cancel a proposal that has been wrongly put and you want to avoid it to be voted on, or if you spot that there is a very bad proposal from a bad actor, then you can initiate a vote to kill this proposal and slash the decision deposit. So to put it into context, so I just use the general admin example to make sure that basically you can understand how it's working. And this is exactly what we propose for this specific track. So again, general admin will be used for general administrative stuff, and it has to be open, so to be easy for people to propose something on this track. So if, as a community member, you want to propose something on this track, basically you just have to deposit 500 mover. And then at this stage, any community member can start voting on your proposal. The capacity is kept to 10, meaning that there can be 10 general admin proposals that will stay there at the same time, which is an amount that is quite high. So make sure that we can have a lot of things going in parallel. And the preparation period will be 1 hour. So you have 1 hour in order to take your time to read it, to potentially also put another decision deposit to make sure that we reach those 500 threshold. And then assuming that basically the preparation period has been elapsed, it will move to the deciding stage where any community member can continue to vote. And the vote duration will be 2 weeks. Then, in order to move from deciding to confirming, this proposal needs to have enough support for at least 1 day. And then, if basically you are able to gather a lot of community support for this proposal, it will move to confirmed, wait for 1 day before it gets enacted. So this process of 4 steps is quite simple to understand. And this is basically the vote duration will be 2 weeks. But what is very important to note is it's not mandatory to stay there for 2 weeks. If there is enough support and approval, it would be maybe done and applied in only 2 days plus 1 hour. So it can be quite fast if there is enough support and approval, or it can stay there for 2 weeks before it gets finally executed. So the main advantages of OpenGov over GovV1, let's say, is the process is a bit more decentralized, definitely because there is no council, there is no preferred treatment for a specific set of or specific collective. So everyone is treated the same. Second thing is there is this risk-based approach where basically the throughput can be pilot or customized in order to make sure that low risk proposal can go quickly and in parallel, and highly risky proposal can require more time in order to get executed. So the community can come together and raise their voice. And the last thing is it's highly configurable. So here we are proposing 5 tracks, but we can have 6, 7, 8. So it's quite easy to configure them. So we can also have more granular proposal types if we feel this is important. So we only propose to start small in order to have only a very small number of tracks that we can use, and then maybe to decide collectively if we need to change it. So for the next step, so definitely we need your feedback. I feel this is good because we want to have the community to get engaged with this new way to govern on chain. So there is this forum post that has been put. It was posted yesterday. So anyone can basically start to say if they feel this is a good idea, they agree with the different parameters, or if they have something else to propose. Again, if they need more information in order to state on this part. If you want to read a bit more about the governance, definitely there is a lot of documentation that is already on our website. So you can go to moonbeam.network and learn how to vote, how the snapshot voting tool is working, and there is also a very well explained blog post on OpenGov if you want to learn more. And again, feel free to reach out to us on Discord or on any different social networks. We will be more than happy to answer your questions. And I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Jan, for this amazing presentation. So I think that you clarified a lot, like how this process will work, but I just have some questions here that will help us highlight some ideas for our community. So based on your presentation, what are the biggest differences between Gov1 and OpenGov?
Yeah, so this is a very good question. So Gov1 was a bit more restrictive and a bit of a slow process. So if we wanted to come collectively together to change something, we will have to wait for the launch period to pass. And the launch period, for you to know, it's something around 1 week, even sometime a bit more. So this is a bit tricky to have something to go through, especially if you have some proposals that are that need to be shipped in parallel, or people proposing some interesting ideas. They will have to wait. With OpenGov, this part is totally solved, where basically we can have multiple proposals going in parallel, be executed for different tracks. This is something that is quite powerful. And the second thing is, and this is not something that I was presenting too much, this is vote delegation. Vote delegation is a way for the community members to delegate their vote if they feel that basically they are not capable enough to take a decision on specific decisions. They can delegate their vote to someone they feel is more expert. And the good thing with OpenGov is this vote delegation can be done per track. So you can say that I'm good enough in terms of knowledge on this specific category of decision. But for the rest, I feel that basically I do not have enough technical knowledge, for instance, and I would prefer to delegate my vote to someone that I'm trusting to be an expert on this field.
Fantastic, thank you. And one of the things that you mentioned, I think, like, so definitely this is going to speed up all the voting, and also like proposals go faster, like pass faster, depending on like the critical level of each proposal, of course. What do you think is one of the biggest impact of OpenGov in the community? I know that you talk about like speed and number of proposals. I don't know if there's anything else that you would like to add here.
Yeah, that's a that's a very good question. I feel that to have this process that is the same for everyone, and now to make sure that everyone understand how critical it is to govern on chain, because we have a tool, a blockchain that is capable to evolve. This is very powerful, but it has to be treated in a good way, meaning that this is a very powerful tool, but it needs to come with some responsibility. So we have to make sure that we understand what are the different decisions that are taken and make sure that they are the right decision. So what OpenGov is bringing is really this part about flexibility, high throughput, and people can have time also to raise their voice and to make the change. I feel this is the most powerful point.
Fantastic, thank you. And so I know that like you explained with the graphics like all the process, but I think what will be very helpful for the community is like put an example of a use case. So can you like put an example of like in a in a real life situation how like the OpenGov process will work?
Yeah, that's a good question. So assuming that I would like to propose something, so
Let's
I can
imagine
say
that
that.
it's an event for the community. If somebody wants to like, put an event together and they want to get some treasury funds, like how could they do that with the new OpenGov process?
Yeah, so I will not take the treasury spending part because this one will stay under the standard process for at least 6 months. But for let's say if you want to open a channel with another parachain, so this is a proposal that we see a lot on Moonbeam and Moonriver. So assuming that you want to propose this, so basically what you will do is just go to bulk assembly in this new OpenGov panel that they will be released, or go to Polkadot.js in order to trigger an extrinsic to say, okay, I would like to propose some specific thing. And from this stage, basically, this proposal, because this is called from the root origin, it will go in the root track. Okay, so you're asking the root origin to open a channel with a specific parachain. So then it will fall under the root track. The root track has a capacity that is not 10, that like we saw on the other example, it's very more restricted, so it's only 5. But basically here, if there is enough capacity, basically this proposal will move from the preparation stage, so undecided, to the deciding phase. And as I said, basically, if you are able to discuss on the community forum with other community members on Discord, and you are able to reach enough support and approval for this proposal to open a channel, then it will be quite smooth. This proposal will go to confirming state, and then after the confirmation period, it will be enacted, go to enactment and then be enacted. So what is very important is to gather enough support from the community for your proposal to go through. And this is normal because this is something that is quite important to open a channel with another parachain. It has a lot of impact, but it's as simple as triggering an extrinsic, so a function call, and putting a deposit there.
Fantastic, great example. And just to close this, I would like to also like emphasize the importance of the community participating in governance. So, why should the community care about governance? Why should the community participate?
So I would say that it's very powerful, the tool that we have from Substrate, which is a way to do some upgrades that are forkless. And this is not something that you see a lot. If you take the example of other blockchains, basically they have to fork or to send a new client and to have all the different block producer to agree to go to this new version in order to upgrade the network. And this is not something that we have in Polkadot and the ecosystem of parachains. So for Moonbeam, the good thing is if you want to make a change, whatever, if it is a small change or a big change, you can propose it, which is a big difference from the other systems. So as it is very powerful, it means that basically people need to understand how it's working. see the power that they have in their hands, be responsible with it, because obviously they have to care to make sure that the proposal they submit is good. But definitely we are able to update the chain quite frequently without having to wait a long time in order to make some critical changes.
Fantastic, thank you. And I just wanted to add here that so participating in governance, which means sharing feedback on proposals, voting when there's a proposal that is up for vote and everything, really makes every token holder be part of key decisions that are gonna impact the network. So I think informing, getting informed, sorry, about these proposals, share your thoughts, or even share your questions if something is not clear, really helps the whole community and the network itself, because these proposals are going to have an impact in that community and how this move forward. So thank you so much, Jan, for participating in another session with us, and putting time on this amazing presentation and all these graphics to educate the community. I also wanted to emphasize that the OpenGov process in general is now being it's being led by Polkadot and Parity and the Polkadot community. And Moonbeam, with the Moonbeam community and the Moonbeam network, what we're doing here is pretty much to set up these parameters on how this is going to be integrated in Moonbeam. So the proposal is now up for discussion. If you're going to be able to see a link here under the video where you can go straight to the community forum. The community forum is a place where you can see all the proposals that are up for discussion, share feedback, share your thoughts, share your questions. Everybody in the community can get access to it. And if you want to participate and comment, you need to connect with your Discord user and being part by being part of the Moonbeam server. But if you just want to see what is around, you can just log in and be able to see it there. So Jan, I don't know if you have any final messages or thoughts for the community before wrapping up.
No, just happy readings. And I hope to see a lot of feedback on this forum post.
Fantastic. Yeah, happy holidays, everyone. And thank you so much for being with us today in another session of Community Voice. Have a good one. Bye.